Interesting pickup from Fnatic because the cogs no longer affect heroes that are BKB'd or magic immune, which is a big deal because Havost is likely to go for BKB. If it goes late enough, he'll pick one up. Dendi, they have 4 heroes that could go BKB. So this Clockwork, all about the early to mid game aggression for me. It's not going to scale well into the late game. A lot of pressure on Fnatic here in the first 10 minutes, I would say.
Well, this is game 1 between Fnatic versus Na'Vi, and Fnatic will be playing on the Radiant side. We have Fly playing the support Bane Elemental. Hani's going to be going mid on that Dragon Knight. No-Tel playing the Chen. Support so far, and obviously support always. Trixi is going to be playing the Clockwork, and last but not least, we're going to see Era playing the one-row Lifestealer.
And on the Dire side, you've got Team Na'Vi, Dendiman on the Magnus, Kuroki taking up the role of the Visage. No Rubik for him this time around. Support Puppy on the Alchemist, no surprises there. Funnick as your Nature's Prophet. Early clarity's pulled to him, so they're prioritizing the Midas Rush, and now Havost. He is going to be playing that carry Gyrocopter. So Na'Vi aggressively moving through the river. They'll go straight up the hill. Fnatic, not a particularly devastating level 1 lineup, and Na'Vi feeling very confident with that Visage. They'll walk directly up 2 hills, Trance leading the way to scout things out, and they'll now secure Fnatic's jungle a bit. We'll probably see some Observer Wards or Sentries go down. Puppy making a deep move. He has no fear here.
He's warding this particular camp right now, and
this Chen's going to have a slow start.
Yeah, I mean, that's... Well, let's see if these guys have Sentry Wards on the Chen. He does, and let's see how many he will scope out. Also, a very interesting item choice about Fnatic I want to point out is that Lifestealer has a Ring of Protection. This is...
Basilius?
Vlad's perhaps later on in the game, or you go Tranquil Boots. It's just that all of these item extension from a Ring of Protection is not something that Lifestealer needs, right?
I think it might be that early reign of Basilius, just so that you can push the tower early, because you get to the mid game, and I don't think you'll be able to push against Na'Vi.
Right, but Lifestealer at the same time is also a hero that could get his items fairly quickly. He maxes out on slots very quickly. So I'm just... This is something that I haven't seen too often, but at the same time, Fnatic is also a team that... They are a little bit of rebel in terms of like standard item choices. They like to do a little bit different. We talked about the Breach of Travel as a heavy part of their big early game investment, but we'll see how Era kind of scale his hero and items choices.
So our mid lane, it'll be a pretty straight up 1v1. Both heroes should farm. Probably nobody dies unless someone feeds or just gets caught out. The off lane for Clockwork, looking at this tri lane, this is going to be tough for Clock to even get in the lane. Trixi already being zoned out. I don't know what he'll be able to do here, and then you look at Na'Vi, they've just abandoned the off lane, so this is a bit of a concern for me. If this Clockwork can't get too much, he is cogging the creeps now to pull the waves back, but just looking at the off lane trades, I feel like Na'Vi, they have the much more reliable off lane. No matter what, your Prophet gets something, whereas your Clockwork may or may not, and he might end up dying quite a lot here.
Yeah, normally as we have the more recent style having Prophet play, as we see Harpy Stormcaller, Stormcrafter is now zapping away Dendi in the mid lane. Normally this playstyle of Prophet is, sending Treants into the jungle, preventing the pulls and whatever else. But because there's a Chen jungling anyways, you could kind of rarely stop that as a Prophet. Sometimes it's just better to farm yourself. And also it helps that you have warded some part of the jungle, like over here, and Chen is being slowed down somewhat.
Yeah, and I just want to point out how much emphasis they're putting on slowing Dendi down. They enfeebled him, they rotated the Bane mid for that, and now they're just zapping away at him. So they're devoting, I'd say, 1.5 supports to this early laning stage, and just from a minute or so of harassment, all of a sudden, Hani, 11-1, bottle online for him. Dendi just now getting his on the courier, and he's sending it back for an initial round of bottle crawling. But so far, mid lane looking pretty good for Fnatic. Lifestealer farming freely in the safe lane. For me, I think it's just all about this Chen's early movements, though, because you look at a DK mid, probably not a hero that's going to go around the map and kill everything. Your Lifestealer bottom lane isn't going to push or put a lot of pressure there. So for me, with Clockwork not getting too much out of the off lane, it puts all the emphasis on the early game onto No-Tail's Chen. What is he going to do? Yeah,
well, so far he's definitely playing a lot more utility. He's not farming. He's only level 1. He's got that Harpy Stormcaller, so he's harassing Dendi on the mid lane. He's only... Again, he's not really power farming as a Chen.
No, he's out of mana now. He's got one more zap, but then he's able to bottle up. Just complete pain in the ass here. Puppy even channeling the stun. He'll come into the mid lane. He'll end up stunning himself. That's 2 self-stuns for Puppy. Just can't seem to get in range of Fnatic.
But I actually think that Fnatic's winning the laning stage right now. I mean, sure, you talked about Clockwork not getting too much early, but I feel like Dendi's perhaps a more important player and hero in this particular game. And, well, he does have his bottle and boots of speed, but the constant harassment from that Stormcrafter is just really annoying.
But here comes Havost, zoning Trixi out of the lane. Early Rocket Barrage brings him down low. Of course, you look at Trixi's got a lot of regen. Puppy, now making his third move of the game. He went for that first initial gank top, then he goes for the gank mid, and now he's going to try and backstep Trixi. The barrage is in. Havost is diving Trixi under the tower. Typical Havost. He wants this first blood. Is he going to find it? Forces it, and yes, he will. Great early aggression here from Navi, and it's what we talked about with the clockwork. It's very hard for him not to die against that tri-lane.
Yeah, once Havost picks up boost, you just have to play the lane a little bit more differently. If you don't match his movement speed, there's no way you can even get near 500-600 range, because Havost literally just walked up, turned on Rocket Barrage, and just chased, and that was like free kill. Nice juke attempt by Trixi, but he didn't have cogs, and that's why the dive was
And they're going in
possible.
again. They grave chill him up. Havost's going to drive him off the lane. Thing is, I mean, yeah, it's kind of hard not to get caught there, though, because Gyrocopter has above average move speed, and Havost played it perfectly. Turns on the Reign of Basilius, auto attacks to push the lane with flat cannon as much as possible, and then dies with the flat cannon.
Right.
Meanwhile, though, mid lane, Denny's found a skewer on Hani, pushes him back into the tower. Not going to find a kill, but some simple harassment from him, and despite all that early aggression, it's a mag mid, and if you're on a DK against him, and you play the mag well, Denny gets his farm. So Denny's still doing well mid. I don't think he's really been shut down much, and they got the first blood. Things looking quite good. And on the side of Fnatic, they've gone for an early smoke gank bottom, but I'm not sure if we'll actually see Funnick defend this tower.
Yeah, I mean, normally you expect a rotation from the enemy team to defend this particular tier 1. We saw, I think, Quantic doing that yesterday and got picked off by a very similar smoke gank from Rattlesnake. And I think, I mean, if you're Fnatic, if nobody comes to defend this, you're okay with it, right? Because you're getting a ton of early game goal from that tier 1 tower. So Glyph is going to get forced out. Still zero rotation being made from Navi. Navi's just straight up sacking a tower, which is something that we don't see too often from him.
By the way, it was the Reign of Basilius for Arrow. So they want to push this tower early.
Okay.
Before the Prophet gets level 6, before the Magnus is too many levels. Because when it gets to that point in the mid game, you can have all the Chen creeps you want. They're just going to get nuked down. So it's an interesting choice from Arrow, and it shows that Fnatic think they need these towers now. They probably don't get them later. They'll go for a tier 2. Most likely just want to force a Prophet teleport reaction. But honestly, it's a life stealer and a level 2 Chen. They're not going to be able to do too much to this tower.
They could dive him right now. I'm surprised that they're not making a go, because face boot with open wounds, I mean, you just get close, and that should be the kill. And Era's running right, and Puppey needs to get out, being zoned away from tower, but doing a very good job of pulling those creeps away from the tower.
No tail, almost dying to the tower. He was one hit from death, ticking low to the acid spray. Honestly, was that worth it? You drive an Alk back to the base, but you've spent 3 heroes, no tail, still level 2 at 5.5 minutes. He's looking a little bit under level to me. And then the Clockwork only level 4, which is okay, but he's given up some kills. He only has boots right now. I think Navi's actually in fantastic position.
I think losing a tower helps a Fnatic support a little bit, because you got to keep in mind that they were helping out Hani in the mid lane, so they're lost out on a little bit of gold intake, and having that tower taken down helps them quite a bit. Era also got the last hit on tower, so he's well on his way on Spracer and probably drum build. So I think it's not a bad exchange for either team, but now you can see that Puppey's found himself almost level 4, and this hero just wants level as much as possible.
So Fnatic, if we look at their mid game, we talked about how Navi have the better split push, the better team fight most likely. So it's on Fnatic to find pickoffs and just spread the map out. For me, the only hero who can really do that is, I mentioned the Chen, but now it's starting to become Trixi as your offlaner. And it's an underlevel Clockwork, there's no hookshot. Thing is, who else actually starts the fights? Hani maybe with Dragon Tail, but no Shadow Blade for him. He doesn't have great initiation. And that's the one issue I have for Fnatic right now, is they need a lot of aggression out of that Clockwork. He's got to be their initiator. Sure, Lifesteal can try and run in, but there's always the threat of an RP counter gank. There's always the threat of a Gyrocopter counter gank. Rage isn't going to last forever. And for me, it's all about the Clockwork, and I'm just not sure what Trixi can get done here. I still think there's a lot of pressure on Fnatic, and Navi can just sit back.
RP's going to drop on the mid lane, and we're going to see a skewer backwards under the towers, and Puppey's going to land a stun. A teleportation is going to come in from Kuroki, and that's going to be a kill. What a well-executed gank. You just don't expect RP out of nowhere on the mid lane like that, and Dendy just jams one in. So
generally, when you know RP's down, that's the time where you want to go for some sort of team fight, if you ever would. Problem is, No Tail's level 3, only 1 creep for him. Era, level 7, sure, but Lifestealer not the best pusher, so they use the RP, and there's nothing that Fnatic can do about it. Really smart play from Navi.
yeah, I mean, those first 1 or 2 RP are basically free rolls in a sense, because generally team fights is not going to start so early in the game, so you could drop those ones, and then he did that. He also TP'd the bot lane and basically defended that tier 2 from being pushed down by Era. I feel like Era, he's getting a ton of farm, and he needs to actually use his farm to do something
To fight.
yeah,
He needs
exciting.
to fight.
And he's getting drums, which is an item that I think will be perfect this game.
Yeah, I think this is the build you have to go for. I don't think you can go for your Treads Armlets, more of your late game build, or a Midas like we see Black sometimes go for.
Oh,
They need him
Ani.
involved early. They are trying to go on Havos top lane. The net has been sprung. Can they actually get in range here? Dragon Tail to start? No, now it comes through. Havos in trouble, but the low ground to high ground stun from Puppey. Havos dropping the call down, still running. Does get caught, so they invest 2 for that kill. Now at the rune, Fly already Kuroki's level 6, and he's going to work here. 2 familiars up, Prophet ult coming through, and a skewer from Dendi. The drive-by, honestly, he should be KSing that, because that means the Blink Dagger's coming soon.
Why not? I mean, quick Arcanes into quick Blink. He's already halfway there, back in the mid-tier 1 tower in big trouble, as these familiars are now sieging onto it. Rocket comes here from Trixi to slow this one down. Dendi also have a double damage, and I was very sure that he would have popped in and tried to siege that tier 1 tower, but we'll save it for another rainy day.
So while that's happening, still no involvement from Era. It's only 9 minutes in, but I really feel like every time RP's down, Fnatic have to say, all right, gut check time, let's go fight.
Yeah, I mean, I think when Era makes that TP, he wants to get at least 1 or 2 kills and perhaps transition into a tier 1 tower push. And to be honest, I think Lifestealer is really powerful at kind of stemming his team into fighting as well, because drums make them move quicker. You can't focus, you can turn around and reverse, for example, because Era's on the front line, he's very tanky, he has rage. So he's looking for that 1 TP that Na'Vi overcommits, and Na'Vi is not really overcommitting any situation right now. Puppey's gonna stun himself.
So if you're Fnatic, the Blink Dagger's coming soon on Puppey and other self. But the Blink Dagger's coming soon on Dendi. It's going to be very hard to push into RP with the lineup they have. The Lifestealer is not big enough yet to just tank an RP, keep on fighting. So if you're not going to 5-man in, then what are your other options? To me, it looks like pretty much Infest Bombs and maybe Smoke Ganks.
Yeah, I think those 2 are probably your best ways. It depends on whether Hani feels safe enough to pick up that Shadow Blade as an initiation mechanism. If he does, and if he has a fairly early one, you could just find random pickoff and then just say, we push against you 5v4. Also, I think if Fnatic wants to 5-man, in theory they can, because Clockwork traditionally is decent against Magnus, right? You rocket him, he can't blink, and then you hook in and just kill him.
But can you really 5-man into RP, call down, flat cannon, and acid spray? I feel like that's asking for trouble.
Yeah, that's tough, and you don't really have to get split pushing, heroes either. Not like a Nature Prophet, not like a Weaver with a Lincoln Sphere. So it's tough for Fnatic to actually get more than these outer tier 1 towers.
Now Fnatic also has to worry about the threat of Roshan too. The tier 1 bottom is down, but they have the acid spray. The medallion's coming soon on Puppey. Na'Vi could sneak Rosh in probably, I don't know, 20 to 30 seconds if they go in there with 3 or 4 heroes at most. So that's always pressure on Fnatic. And especially if they see Fnatic try and push this tier 1 top. I think Na'Vi are just going to say, we'll give you that tower, we'll take Rosh, and then we're going to come fight.
Well, I mean, sneaking the Rosh is always a possibility, but you got to make sure that you know where the Lifestealer is and whether he could join the fight or not. Because if Lifestealer at this early stage of the game find you in the Roshan pit and he pops his drums, everybody's dead. So because right now they don't have an answer for the Lifestealer just yet.
It's been a deliberate game so far. 3-1 your score. Na'Vi leading 11 minutes in. Gold experience fairly close, but looks like we might have a clash here bottom lane. Puppey already the ult up, the medallion coming very soon. And a long duration smoke gank from Fnatic won't end up working out. Puppey reveals it, and they'll simply back off. Fnatic's early movements have not caught Na'Vi once. The Prophet never got caught bottom. Funnick now the Midas up. It's been up for a while. He'll work towards his next item. And meanwhile, top lane, it looks like someone who might get caught is Trixi. Cooldown's in, narrowly misses on the slow. If it hits, that's a kill, but just off the mark there. Havost, it's kind of hard to hit cooldown without a stun, to be honest. That spell takes a while to land.
Yeah, it does. Well, a little bit of missed opportunity is okay, though, because cooldown has such a short cooldown. And to be honest, Funnick's still farming away. He's got this Animatus already rolling. Waiting for the use back in mid.
Yeah, oh, he's got his blink. He needs to at least buy that blink now, even if he's going to go down. He skewers to the north, 2,200 gold up, trying to get this regen rune. Pawnee's going to grab it as well. Now an RP from Dendi. He keeps on running. He gets hooked. He has bought his blink. So the biggest threat here is off the mark. But RP on cooldown, I wanted to fight. He saw Havos coming, and he thought, okay, he can get here in time. We can turn this one. Now the missile comes through. But it looks like in the end they'll simply back off.
That's actually a big win for Fnatic. If you look at Era right now, he's tanking a tower a little bit, but he's doing the best thing, which is split pushing a tower. Teleportation's going to come in. He's got to be very careful because Era, well, it's Havos, so that's fine. It also forced Havos to rotate mid just simply by walking there and then teleport to the bot. So Havos lost a lot of farm because Dendy got caught out. So I think that Fnatic, even though they only killed the Magnus and sure he bought the Blink Dagger, just by forcing Hero rotating all over the map, I think it was a Fnatic victory. A pretty big one at that.
Yeah, the RP's on cooldown. Of course, Dendy probably was going to die there regardless, so about 30 to 40 seconds of that RP cooldown were going to be spent dead anyway. But still, it's on cooldown for a minute and a half. Maybe Fnatic look to make their first move. They have Hookshot cooling down soon. Dragon Knight, level 10. We still haven't seen them push, though, Lumi. When you pick Chen and Dragon Knight, one of the main reasons you do that is to take some early towers.
They can't find man, like you said. I mean, that's why they're moving around the map trying to find these smoke ganks, because smoke ganks, if you get one successful one, it's just easy tier 1, tier 2 towers. And that's why they're forcing these smoke ganks. This is the third smoke of the game, and to be honest, I'm not sure whether they'll find one. Having Shockwave, having Acid Spray, these are very easily spells to defend your towers with, so...
If Fnatic try and grind this one out, I can't help but feel that Na'Vi have the edge there.
Yeah,
they've got
do.
the better flash farmers. I would say because they have Empower and RP, they've got the carry that's going to scale harder in the Gyro. He'll have that flat cannon Empower when he's not BKB'd. And you've got an Alk and a Prophet. He's sure it's a support Alk, but we've seen Puppey play that support Alk before, and all of a sudden he comes out around 30 minutes in with an Assault Cuirass. He's got his phase boots up, and the hero's no joke at that point.
Yeah.
So Na'Vi, there is no pressure on them whatsoever. Still, all the requirement to move rests with Fnatic, and so far it was a decent fight made, but they didn't stop the blink from coming out. And what do? Like we talked about, it's just there's very few options for Fnatic.
They need to find a successful smoke gank. This is the third smoke, and I think they're heading to the bot tower again. Maybe. It seems like Fnatic are unsure of where they could actually go. They do ward up one, but the one thing they have to also be careful about is, you know, protecting the tier 1 mid. DK is still standing there, but he's very close to dying because one blink skewer could do the job. But the smoke's going to go to bot. Era is trying to get this push by himself to bait a TP, but Puppey reveals a Satyr Howlcaller coming out in Viz, so you know kind of what's happening.
If they lose a big fight here, if Fnatic lose a fight, that's probably Roche to Na'Vi. So very important that they don't get caught. Blink RP is online. Dendy lurking in the pit, self-smoke, and he's looking to jump now. Era, the armlet available, but not being delivered just yet. They're going on Kuroki now. They go in fast and hard. Where's the backup? Nothing just yet. The stun being channeled by Puppey. Rage is going to end soon. Era could be in trouble. No, it's a self-stun from Puppey. Fourth of the game. Dendy not going in for the Blink RP. And in the end, nobody dies, but 2 towers fall. Hani takes the tier 1 mid, and Havost will take the tier 1 top. So, little anticlimactic there in the end, Lumi.
Yeah, I think Fnatic is okay though. Towers getting denied is okay, but tier 1 tower mid trade is a lot more important. If you look at Hani right now, he's got his Shadow Blade. I talked about that. If Fnatic feels confident, they could kind of take the early game aggression to Na'Vi. They will pick up the Lothars or Shadow Blade. And once you have this, suddenly Navi's got to play a lot more defensive because it's very easy for Dragon Knight to wrap around behind these towers and get a free pick-off. And pick-off for Fnatic right now is the name of the game.
And getting that tier 1 mid is so important.
Right.
Like, giving away their tier 1 top is completely fine for Fnatic because they got the tier 1 mid, so now they've got more ways to access Roshan, and like you said, more ways to wrap around. Another smoke from Na'Vi. Is this 3 in a row? It's at least 2. Denny jumping in. He'll RP just for Fly. They just want some kills. They want some blood, and they'll get it. Hey, I think it is one of those games where you can use RP on one hero.
I mean, it might not be the best timing in doing so because I think Fnatic's about to make a big push.
But they wanted to Roche. They wanted to Roche, and can Fnatic contest?
I mean, Fnatic definitely will contest, right? Everybody's rotating, but the Roshan's actually going down to half HP very quickly. You don't have RP, and this is the best time you want to have it.
And comes Era. Can they do anything to stop him? He just goes to work. He slices through Fnatic. He'll jump onto Havost, but the rage about to end. Now he backs off. He resets, he reloads. Another self-stun. A hook on 2. Perfect cogs right at the ramp. Trixi dropping, paying the price. However, Havost has been stunned. Blinking and skewering in his Dendy. He's pulling no-tail up onto a cliff. Micro this, he says. Now Era lurching forward. Once Kuroki, he'll get him. It's a 4 for 2. No RP. Now a grip on Denny. It's going to be a team wipe going the way of Fnatic. Na'Vi, they used the RP on 1, but then they got greedy and they went for Roche, and that greed will be thoroughly punished now.
They can't see Dendy right now because... Oh,
Oh no, the blast was late. He blinks out. Okay, make it a 4 for 2. Still a fantastic fight for Fnatic. The problem though is, can they actually stop this Roche now? Because RP coming down in 30 seconds. No, Dendi blinking away. Gets Opawood. Maybe it will be a 5 for 2. One more hit to bring him down. They get him. It's the team wipe in the end.
And again, you go back to that RP being dropped on the mid lane, and I said, if you don't have RP in the pit, Era is king, and that's exactly what we saw. He just ran in, just tanked everybody, and to be honest, Trixi also won the fight for them. It was a hook in, and then the cog was right here. Like, it just, it was so hard for Na'Vi to kind of maneuver in that spot. And
those were absolutely brutal cogs.
Yeah, it was.
It reminded me of when we really saw Bulba explode onto the scene as one of the premier Clockwork players. They had Team Liquid had a few signature fights right here. Cogs in that ramp just ruins the enemy team.
Yep, and that's exactly what happened. So Na'Vi, I think, overcommitted in that particular engagement. And for heroes like Dragon Knight, for heroes like Lifeslayer, these are heroes that could just get so quickly and so fast. And if you could see Lifeslayer right now, he is going for the race car build.
He's still got his Quelling Blade, and I'll hang on to this for a while. Nice against the Nature's Prophet. But like you said, it's a race car build, and Na'Vi, they only have RP for him. So I think it's fine to go for a one-hero RP, but I think the issue there was they went for the one-hero RP, and then they immediately go into Roche. Right. They could have just taken the kill and backed off to farm. Fnatic's not going to take Roche during that time. Fnatic can't really push because you've got so much AoE, at least not easily, but that was just Na'Vi getting greedy.
Yeah. Well, they definitely got punished by Fnatic, and Fnatic Era now putting a little bit of pressure up top. It really turns Era into a kind of split pusher in itself as well, because it's so hard to actually get a gank on him. You have to use that RP, and I think they're doing that right now on the top lane.
Meanwhile, Fnatic grouped up in the middle lane. Hani maybe looking to progress the push here with No-Tail. Still Era taking the more challenging farm. I love this from him. It's something we've seen is a lot of one-position players nowadays they'll go to the off lane, they take the more difficult farm in the mid game, so their supports and their utility heroes have the safer farm, because he's very hard to kill. They'll have to blow almost everything to do it. But it's like we talked about in the draft. Fnatic very worried about this Roshan. Now they're going to try and take it away from Na'Vi. Oh, this is bold, but look at the vision. Fnatic Na'Vi has no idea. They've completely warded and dewarded this entire region. They might even be able to pull this off.
I mean, doing it against familiars is actually very hard, but those birds are nowhere near to be seen.
Na'Vi is in the dark. That team fight really cost them, because it wasn't just the kills. It was the vision.
Yeah, Funny, is he going for some solo kill plays? No, he's just kind of running back here. But the Roshan is dropping quite low. Is there going to be any RP steal? No. Lifestealer just picks it up for free.
Oh man, that was so good from Fnatic. Not the fact that they went for Roche, but the way they did it. They de-ward and ward the entire map. Na'Vi had just used all of their smokes. I don't even think they had one available. If they did, it was only one more, and there was just no way for Na'Vi to sneak in very easily.
You gotta keep in mind, though, even though Fnatic is leading right now, it's only a 1,500 gold lead, and more importantly, they have a clock, because if this game goes late, Na'Vi just have better heroes, more suited for that particular stage of the game. Fnatic is just waiting for 1 or 2 key items. You want a BKB on Hani. You probably want maybe a pipe at that point when you make that big push. Clockwork want to pick up a item. I don't know what that is. Maybe a Vitality booster. Just get some early to mid-game item and just go for a big push, because Na'Vi is it's gonna be tough if it goes any later than this.
And it is the way they've itemized, right? We've seen the early Shadow Blade to find some pickoffs, to split push more effectively. We see the BKB now coming out for Hani. It's not like they're going for, you know, Mass Midases, just Helm of the Dominator, Ancient Stacking, Dragon Knight. They are going for fight now items, and they've been fighting. They have an Aegis up. I imagine we'll see them continue to fight, and this has to be it for Na'Vi as far as smokes go. Man, they've really been chewing through these at a rapid clip. They'll now look to jump in mid. Will they go for a one-hero RP again on the Bane? I doubt it. There is a BKB up on Havost, and like you said, ultimately, Na'Vi have the kind of lineup that can be down 10, maybe even 20k gold. Well, maybe not 20, but definitely like 10 to 15 and still come back. Yeah. So still Fnatic, I think they're in a much better position to make things happen now, but they're still the ones who should be forcing fights. Na'Vi maybe go for a smoke gank here or there, but most likely they'll just take the more relaxed, passive approach. You've got your Shadowblade Prophet, you've got your Gyrocopter who is a BKB. Now Havost can work towards his next item, and you'll try and turtle this one out.
They gotta be careful mid. I mean, this is where it comes back to, we talked about Fnatic being the safer team. They don't like to overcommit. They don't make too many mistakes. And so far, even though they're taking it a little bit slower, they're not giving any freebies to Na'Vi. Na'Vi has to spend an RP for any kills, and I think Fnatic's actually okay with that. Fnatic is now going to roll up top and basically take that tier 1 for free, because I don't think Na'Vi's defending this.
Yeah, and this is a good time to take it while you have Aegis, and while Aegis is down. Well, Roshan is down, rather. Because if you go for this when it's up, then Na'Vi takes Roche. But now you can take the tier 1 top, and at best Na'Vi just push the other lanes. They're not going to sneak in Aegis. Puppey, now boarding behind the tower. Not going to find Trixi just yet. Trixi Well, he's hiding for the time being. Na'Vi, maybe they know. Puppey, he pains. Now he channels the stun. He runs right in, but gets pushed back. Will Puppey self-stun again? Well, for the time being, he'll back off. Trixi not stunned for very long here. Now a Hani TP in. BKB from Abos, diving that gyro. The first one to fall is Fly's Bane, but still working on Trixi. Tries to hook to freedom. He can't get out, but it's Hani. Working on Puppey now. RP still available, not being used yet by Dendi. There's your blink. RP to a Fly as well. Hani pulled back into the fray. Where the hell is that Lifestealer? Finally, Era joining the fight. Just didn't get involved, and in the end, Na'Vi come in. They clean up 2, make it 3. There's a buyback from the clock. They really want to fight with this Aegis, but they won't get a damn thing. Fnatic has Aegis. Fnatic has their tier 1 up. And yet, Na'Vi wins a big fight.
Yeah,
they just don't care.
Force out Trixi to buy back, and well, he really needs that go. Now, rotation to tier 1, and this is Fnatic doing what he does best. Just split pushing whenever he sees the opportunity to do so. I mean, I think Hani perhaps was over-aggressive in choosing his target. He just went for a kill on Alchemist, and Alchemist had a 15 charge wand. Maybe if he clicked on Puppey, he would have seen that and wouldn't have made that play, but he didn't, and he just basically threw every damage, every nuke at him, and did not get the kill.
How many teams would see the enemy team as Aegis? We have the better turtle lineup. Let's go fight now.
I mean, Havos had a BKB, and to be honest, there's nothing that could stop that. There's no basher just yet, right? So
yeah, there's right-clicking him, but ultimately he's hitting everyone in the team fight. You're only hitting him.
And he actually has a ton of armor to work with. 14 at this point in the game is already very respectable. Maybe he's going to go back for Helm. Maybe he's going to get a Yasha and get a little bit more attack speed. But until Era gets a basher, I think it's actually, you know, Na'Vi that has better team fight right now.
Yeah, it still feels like the pressure's on Fnatic. They have this Aegis up. They didn't lose it in that last fight, and I would really like to see them. I don't know if I would say force a tier 2, because then you're forcing into RP and call down and the massive team fight of Na'Vi, but maybe you go for another smoke gank here, try and split push the lanes out a bit. The problem, though, is Na'Vi's gotten some vision back. They've got a ward in their own jungle. They've got a ward behind the tier 1 bottom, so they're not playing completely in the dark now, whereas before Fnatic could do whatever they wanted. Speaking of doing whatever you wanted, Era's just going to go in solo man mode. He won't get Kuroki.
Not going to get the
late Mac. The Infest not enough. Now the stun comes the other way. Is there an RP? Cooldown's there. RP just came off cooldown, and Dendi's a coming, but Era still fighting his way out. Remember, he's got the Aegis, the grip deployed on Havost at long range. He doesn't have mana now for anything. He gets skewered. There's your RP from Dendi. Havost to fall first and foremost. Now Puppey trying to duke it out, but a buyback from Havost. He's coming back with a BKB and a cooldown. Doesn't seem to matter. They pick off 2. They pick off 3 and force a buyback, and now they'll take some towers. Uh-oh. Na'Vi are in trouble. No RP. Is this high ground for Fnatic?
Hani's looking for a kill right now. Havos is running to the left, and he's got face, so he should be fine. Hani wasting a little bit of time, not focusing on a tier 2. But when Dendi saw his friend was being focused by the Lifestealer, he just went for the RP. Unfortunately, Trixi rocketed him and then hooked him. So the Blink Dagger being cancelled just goes back to what we talked about, how Clockwork traditionally is good against Magnus if you could find him, and he did. So Dendi getting isolated there really did not help the team fight. Havos forced to buy out, so that's not his, you know, whatever Yasha or Helm, whatever his next item that he's going for, he will have it delayed. So big win here for Fnatic. Keep in mind that they could never make these 5-man pushes because Na'Vi's team is designed to stop that. But when you find a free pickoff, you can make those pushes.
And when you have the Aegis and you force Na'Vi to blow everything just to stop your Lifestealer, and just force a bad, chaotic team fight.
He didn't even use it.
Yeah, I mean, that was perfect for him. And in the end, it expires. But Fnatic's just playing this one very deliberately. They're forcing fights when they have the Aegis. We've seen some good rotations from them in the mid game. The early game was shaky. We saw a pretty slow start for No-Tail. He did slow down Dendi mid, but wasn't farming particularly well on himself. They tried to push a tier 2 early. It wasn't very successful. 3 or 4 smoke ganks that didn't go their way, but they're showing a lot of poise now. They're definitely in this game, and they control the tempo to some extent, but because of the nature of Na'Vi's lineup, and because Havost is farming, now up to 3.2k gold, the clock is still ticking. Maybe they've slowed it down, but it has not stopped yet. It certainly is not reversed.
It definitely has not, but I think Fnatic is one pick-off away being in the firm driver's seat of this game because Hani just picked up BKB, Lifestealer just picked up Basher. If they find anybody as a pick-off, and right now they're definitely looking for one because Hani with the Lifestealer inside of him, and he is going to be shadow blading for a kill. If they find anybody, and look at how Na'Vi is to fray right now, they're just sending in front of the tier 2. They know if they get caught out, it could be Rax, it could be possibly the game.
And the thing is, even if they don't lose Rax, if they lose one more fight, this lifestealing Dragonite will be so strong that Na'Vi might not be able to leave their base. Just because one of those heroes by himself can kill 2 or 3.
Well, the question is, do they have detection? Do they have gem? The smoke comes
here
out
your
here.
Infest Bomb. Hani leading the way. Havost in trouble. There's your Angry Dragon. No RP from Dendi. He'll catch them both. He waited a little bit there. The call down as well, but still going to work, and they're having a blast. Puppy being kited. Everybody on the run. 2 heroes caught in the cogs. The hook in from Trixi. It's on the mark. Give a triple to Hani.
Gem also drop on the ground.
Is this high ground?
I mean, this is definitely high ground here. I talked about the BKB, talked about the Basher, and talked about the fact that if Na'Vi gets picked, it is Rax, and they're going to go for it right now. They have the creep equilibrium. Unfortunately, you know, you have Fnatic alive. He is going to be a thorn on your backside. He's going to slowly push in the top tower perhaps, but I don't think Connie and the rest of his team cares. I mean, they're doing it against Na'Vi. Nobody expected this, and I'm saying you do not count out Fnatic. And right now, they're doing quite well.
At the International 2, Na'Vi showed up very shaky in the group stages. They didn't have a great boot camp. They even said in interviews they didn't feel that good going into the International 2. They started off, I believe, 0-6 on the first day in their group stage matches. This is only one game, even if they do lose it, but starting a bit shaky here. They came in as heavy favorites, not just against Fnatic, but against most, if not all of the teams at TI2 and TI3 rather, and well, we'll see Fnatic try and make a play now. Going for a pick off on Trixi.
Puppy.
Meanwhile, though, mid lane, the fight breaks out. Denny jumps in. RP still cooling down, skewering back Hani.
Havost, and Havost is going to be dead for sure. The birds are trying to help him alive, but the Infest is going to get the kill. And now Kuroki in big trouble. Any bashes from Era just yet? No bashes, but he's just right-clicking for the best of them. And there's yet another kill.
It's a massacre in the base. They lose their Dragonite. They lose their Clockwork. They still take Rax. The gem hit the deck, and Dendi did recover it. So that's a pretty big win for Na'Vi, I think, considering how bad the game is right now for them, but still not a great situation.
Well, they're going to actually silence up on Era, and Era in big trouble right now. Blink 4 is
RP. 5 seconds. 5 seconds for the RP. They don't even need it. They get the kill. Now Fly on the run, and they could get an extra one here. It could be 4 soon. Fnatic overstaying their welcome and giving up quite a few. And the thing is, Fnatic is hugely ahead now compared to what they were, but you give up too many kills to Na'Vi, they can be down 1 lane of Rax and easily come back.
Yeah, normally I say, you know what, it's more or less a Pyrrhic victory for Na'Vi because sure they're getting these kills, but they're down with Rax. But these kills are actually very important. You talked about the comeback possibly for Na'Vi, and more importantly, when you have heroes dead on the map, these are the heroes that are not defending against Fnatic split push right now. And in order to get a second push going on, you have to first stop the split push. And Fnatic is applying so much pressure. Right now, Trixi's looking for the hook. There's a silence up, and the TP out is double dust. And I think Fnatic is in huge trouble because he's being slowed down right now. Does apply a 10% slow on an invisible hero. That Fnatic split push is now done.
Yeah, I think a death or two like that is somewhat to be expected for Fnatic.
Oh, but the Roshan. This is very smart right now. This is just nothing but the distraction. Navi's going to take up the Aegis, or they will try to do so. They do have one of Havost.
Wow.
And that is
really well done.
That is a tie turner.
Yeah. Even if they don't get the Aegis, I still think it's okay. But suiciding like that to get an Aegis for your team, Fnatic just caught with their pants down. They took mid lane Rax. You should have Roche control.
I mean, when Fnatic's pushing your tier 2, what are you going to do? Not defend it and go for the Roshan pit? I mean, it's the natural thing to do.
Yeah, so. But they send everyone is the thing. I mean, maybe if you're Fnatic, you just send the Lifestealer or the Dragonite. They can drive the profit back by themselves. Great play from Na'Vi.
Yeah.
And this is Na'Vi as a team. Just can never count them out. They always have a way of just finding their way back into the game, forcing their way back in. Still Fnatic up 1 lane of Rax. They have a pretty significant item advantage on some of these key heroes. Havost not yet fully coming online. He still needs to farm the Butterfly. You look at the gold graph and it tells one story, but you got to remember how many buybacks Na'Vi have used this game. So the gold graph makes it look close because that's gold earned, but when you factor in the buybacks, Fnatic still have a pretty significant item advantage here on their core heroes.
Yeah, the only person that bought back on Fnatic's side is like the Clockwork, and Clockwork's pretty much done, right? He's got the Blade Mail, which is, in my opinion, possibly the best item you could get when you have kind of this item disadvantage. And you want
it's very cost efficient. It gives you some armor, and it gives you a very potent active ability against certain heroes.
And to be honest, once he picks up like a vid booster, I think he's pretty much set for the rest of the game. So Fnatic right now looks for another payoff and then trying to transition to a second Rax push. I think once you get the second Rax on Na'Vi, you could just sigh a big sigh of relief at that point. But until then, I don't think Fnatic's out of the woods just yet.
Yeah, don't rest easy if you're Fnatic. It's only game 1 of the series, and on top of that, they have not won yet. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Fnatic now will work towards the Scythe device. Na'Vi, their job is to keep the lanes pushed out and just keep on farming Havost. Dendi, if he can get those next big items, that's nice, but he's already got BKB blink. He just needs to hit a big RP. The heroes who really need to farm are the Gyrocopter, the Prophet. Those are the two core ones for Na'Vi. If anyone else does, that's just icing on the cake. Fnatic, they'll group up top as you mentioned. They'll look to push, but they're not finding any real opening yet. The tier 2 could fall soon, but Na'Vi have very good vision here. Remember, the gem still belongs to Na'Vi, and potentially, if they want to fight, they could get the jump, but I imagine they'll defend their high ground here, not the tier 2.
Some very, very key item picked up. We saw Fnatic's Silent Stick last time on Era, and that's a big item. If you could get the jump on Era and pick him off early, that's going to be huge. Also, Havols, if he picks up his Butterfly with the Aegis up, there's no way to pierce through the 30% evasion right now. We're going to see perhaps
35 actually.
35. Okay, so that's a ton of evasion, and right now Fnatic know they cannot make that push. So everybody TP's back. And if
what a hook! It was an incredible hook from Trixi. He had some vision. Long range. He's caught out Fnatic, who frantically tries to eat his way through the cogs. He can't get out.
Back.
He will go down. Oh my god, what a hook.
Well,
what a hook!
Butterfly with the Aegis up, there's no way to pierce through the 30% evasion right now. We're gonna see
35 actually.
35. Okay, so that's a ton of evasion, and right now Fnatic know they cannot make that push. So everybody TP's back. And if
what a hook! It was an incredible hook from Trixi. He had some vision. Long range. He's caught out Fnatic, who frantically tries to eat his way through the cogs. He can't get out.
Back.
He will go down. Oh my god, what a hook.
Na'Vi,
are you kidding me?
Na'Vi was supposed to be ahead after that, because they traded tier 2 towers when they're behind. They forced everybody TP back, but I think Fnatic's going to just storm down the mid lane right now and perhaps force another rack.
Remember, he used buyback earlier, like you mentioned.
No
so
buyback.
Do they go mid? And I mean, I don't think they can go throne. Do they just push in mid and go backdoor top or
I think that's a play you go for. Maybe you force a kill on Havols. He does have a Butterfly, 35% evasion with Aegis.
This could be a red herring, I feel. I feel Fnatic, sure they got this kill on Prophet, but there's still RP, Acid Spray, Flak, and now a fresh Butterfly on Gyro. This is not like an easy go win the game now scenario.
Are they just going to backdoor top? I mean, the creeps are slowly moving in, or maybe they're looking for a jump.
If you're Na'Vi, you really have to keep the creeps out of your base at any cost. If you let them in, well, it's 20 seconds where you have to stall. The glyph is available.
Oh, they're going for top.
I think if you're Fnatic, you don't really want to commit to this, because end of the day, they've actually used Rage on Era. That's unfortunate. Doesn't use Rage to hit the tower. Normally, if you're a life stealer, you can just pop Rage, go hit the tower 3 times, and
Notel's popping his
back
neck
off
for his creeps. I'm not sure if...
I don't think they can force this. Like, even if the Prophet was still dead for another minute, you have to be very deliberate against Na'Vi. You don't just want to go in full throttle. If they can find pickoffs, though, maybe they can get more aggressive.
Well, Clockwork Hook is back up right now, and looks like we do have a TP on the bot lane. Fnatic is back alive, but maybe not for long, because there's a Life Stealer inside. There's dust available. They have every tool to get a pickoff. And Trixi, I think he's seen the hook. Oh my god! It comes, it connects, and, well, Fnatic is dead again.
Get more aggressive.
Well, Clockwork Hook is back up right now, and looks like we do have a TP on the bot lane. Fnatic is back alive, but maybe not for long, because there's a Life Stealer inside. There's dust available. They have every tool to get a pickoff. And Trixi, I think he's seen the hook. Oh my god! It comes, it connects, and, well, Fnatic is dead again.
Man, this guy, the last one, he sort of had vision from this high ground ward. This one, pure anticipation. Invis Prophet, doesn't matter. You can't run from Trixi. Make it 2 for 2 on those crazy hooks, and it does show you that Clockwork, sure, not as good in the team fights versus BKB carries if they get it off, but still a fantastic ganker, can really punish the split push, and they need these kills, because if they're not getting them, then that means Havost has no pressure on him, and he's farming his next items, but instead, Havost not feeling very safe, and Fnatic, the Aegis to be reclaimed fairly soon for Na'Vi. It'll be down for 4 minutes, and then maybe that's their window to strike.
Well, I mean, does Fnatic go now? They're thinking about it. They're pushing in with a huge creep wave. There is Acid Spray, there is Flat Cannon, but more importantly, they're not there yet. Flat Cannon's down for 20 seconds. Puppey is not in position for Acid Spray. Are they looking for a little bit of pickoff here? Kuroki should be okay. There is Haste Rune on Hani. Hani's coming right in. Did not pop the BKB. Force that forward though, and now I think Kuroki's going to be dead. Now keep in mind that there is an RP. RP not being dropped. Just BKB gets popped out here, and Hani taking quite a bit of time. Kuroki pops a Ghost Scepter. They're wasting so much time on this kill. I'm not.
And while that's happening, Fabos got a kill on the backside. There is a Fiend's Grip, but it doesn't really matter. Looks like Fly's in trouble. Self-sleep. It's a very chaotic fight. It's up to to Hani now. He jumps in on Puppey. Your life stealer simultaneously Era. Everybody scattering to the winds. Nobody focusing really. Both teams playing like a 1v1, v1, v1, and so on and so forth. Hani now shadow bladed up. He'll jump back in, but Dendi still has his RP. He's waited out the BKB of Hani. He could go in now. He catches both carries. Fnatic right clicking for all he's worth, but where's your gyro when you need him? They live through the RP. Now they turn it around, and Havos is in a whole lot of trouble. He's gonna fall now. You have no RP. You have no way to defend. This could be 2 lanes of Rex. This may well be GG, and Fnatic jumping out to a quick and very sweet 1-0 lead.
Well, buyback from Havos, buyback from Fnatic. Navi says we might be down. We are not out just yet. If they could go for some key pickoffs right now, they will be back in the game. You can see the TP on the bot lane. Fnatic says, "Fly, I see ya," and you're going to the fountain one way or the another. So nice pickoff.
Well, that's happening. Fnatic finding a pickoff on Fly on the bottom lane, and Trixi did infest in just to get a free fountain trip, but they can't find it. If they had more HP, I think they could have just forced that. Even with the buybacks, Navi have no RP, but when your lifestealer has like 100 HP, just has to back.
Yep, and they did. So those buybacks, made Navi survive in this game, but generally when we see these type of buybacks, they don't win many fights after that.
I wish there was a buyback counter, because I honestly feel like Navi has bought back 10 times this game. I don't even think that's much of an exaggeration. That is a lot of gold, Lumi. You look at the gold graph right now, it looks even. It's not. Look at these carries. Lifestealer, 17,000 gold. Abyssal's available for Era. He's getting to that point where if he lives through RP, he kills everyone.
Well, the thing is, he might get picked right now. This is a very smart pick-off attempt, because if they do find Era, then the game will be extended for quite a bit. You can see how Era is saving for buyback. I think when you are this ahead in a game, and I feel like, let's be honest, Fnatic is quite ahead, right? Buyback's being forced out, so there's not much gold coming back from Navi's carry. You start to think to yourself, how are we going to lose this game? We're going to lose if Era gets picked off multiple times. We're going to lose if we never get our push going on. And if Era keeps that in mind, he just don't get picked off, and the game eventually is theirs.
Is it really only 4? It feels like a lot more than that to me.
Yeah, I think the buyback were in key moments. Perhaps,
okay.
So
maybe the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
Felt like more.
It's only been 4.
But yeah, I
Trixi
mean,
bought back once. Yeah.
I mean, Navi's still hanging in there. They're working towards the next items. The Helm of the Dominator's up for Havos. Oh, it's coming up soon. So they're not entirely out of it, but you get to the point where it's not. You mentioned one way to lose, which is if Lifestealer gets picked, and even if he gets caught, the thing is, who can you actually kill during RP? There's Hand of God to worry about. There's Mech and Force Staff on No Tail, and there's a Heart on the Dragon Knight. And now Era finding Kuroki will back off. I think he could have forced that, but doesn't have a whole lot of vision here, and he will play it safe. And their carries get to a point in this game where they're so tanky they live through RP. Navi can't man fight. Gyro is not going to man fight a Lifestealer and a DK with this much farm.
Yeah, I mean, Heart on DK just kind of is a nail in the coffin. I feel like Hani is just so big at this point that he just runs in. Now, Fnatic did have a kind of a shaky teamfight previously because they spent, I want to say, a good 10 seconds chasing that Visage, and Visage had a Ghost Scepter that popped on them. Meanwhile, Gyrocopter was shredding their support in the back line. So Fnatic should control the teamfight a little bit better, and they have the item advantage, they have the gold advantage, and they just have to make sure they fight a good one.
Yeah, this is where you get excited, you just start, guys, we got this. You can smell and taste victory. Just calm down, relax, and focus the right heroes.
Right.
So go on the Gyro if that's who you want to focus. Try and isolate the Magnus, I think, is ideal. If Hani can just go in and right-click him, Dendi, sure, he's got BKB. He won't be Dragon Tail, but he'll just be kited to the ends of the earth and prevent Dendi from getting off a good RP. If Navi don't get a good RP, they're not taking a team fight.
I think Fnatic right now is waiting for the Roshan. Aegis and Cheese is the big deal, so the Roshan fight is going to be the decider for the game. Navi understands as well. They smoke up, and they're looking for a pick. If you take Era right now, there's a silent state. Oh, the smoke gets revealed.
Shortest smoke of their lives. Era just chilling there with an Abyssal. Havos revealed. Puppey revealed. Now Hani says, it's our turn to go. Let's see if you're ready. Catch us if you can. They jump in on Havos. A 2-hero RP's in. It's pretty good, but where's the damage? They're not even dropping. Era and Hani living through it all. It's up to Fnatic on the backside, focusing for all he's worth. Hani finally starting to drop, but they have not addressed Era. He right-clicks a few more times. Beautiful body block from Puppey, slowing down the aggression. One more right-click. The evasion is out. They get the kill. They still have not lost the Dragon Knight. Actually, he bought back, it looks like, or was sent home.
Oh
he's out of the fight, and Era's just going hard right now. Lifestealer, the ghoul is back, and Kuroki's on the run.
Keep in mind that there's no buyback on Fnatic. There's no buyback on the Gyrocopter. Kuroki's buying a ton of time for his team right now, but I just don't think how long. I mean, Kuroki is trying all his best, but This is gonna be the
I
second
think
lane of
Na'Vi are out of buyback, Sloomy. I mean,
are.
even if they had them with no RP, even with RP, doesn't matter. Lifestealer barely got tickled in that fight, even though the Dragon Knight from Hani took the entire focus fire of the Prophet as well as Flat Cannon. He only dropped like a third HP, then got sent home by No Tail, was completely fine. This is it for Na'Vi. This is 2 lanes of Rex. This should be game.
That was a really, really good RP on the 2 most important heroes on the Fnatic side. But right after those RP, Fly gripped the gyrocopter for like a good 1.5 seconds, and that was all the time that they needed to withstand that RP and just start right-clicking.
I honestly think even if they didn't get that important grip, they still win the fight. They're so far ahead at this point. It's kind of absurd, but obviously every little bit makes a difference here. Now Fnatic, 2 lanes of racks up. Na'Vi still fighting on for the time being. It's looking bleaker and bleaker. 41 minutes in, you can kind of ignore the graphs, I suppose, just showing them for those who care about them. But the thing is, there's just no item progression on Na'Vi. Havost has a Helm of the Dominator, and the Prophet is going towards a BKB. There's still not a single tier 4 damage item on this team 42 minutes in. We thought they should have had the farming advantage, but, well, we're not seeing that Assault Cuirass Alchemist this game. We're not seeing that MKB Gyro.
It's Fnatic playing very smart. They're taking the fights right to Na'Vi, and they are just so strong at this point in the game that if you lose those fights, and if you don't buy back, you're going to start losing Roshans or Raxes or things of that nature. So Na'Vi is to force the buyback, and they're really spending the go, instead of items, they're spending the go on the buyback, and you know, it doesn't make your hero any stronger.
You can't, I don't think you can, I didn't see any buybacks this game where I'm like, well, they should not have bought back there.
Right.
Problem is they just had to, because they kept on getting picked off, because Fnatic kept on finding the kills. And Fnatic have just done a nice job. I think the point where this game really started to turn was when Trixi started nailing those hooks.
Yeah.
And that's just given Fnatic so much confidence to go into these fights, force them, and off the back of that, pushing down the middle lane, taking racks. Sure, it hasn't been the most polished performance, but it's been more than good enough. And now, if they take this Roche, they'll have Aegis Cheese and 2 carries that already don't die once.
Yeah, I mean, Fnatic's taking a long time for this Aegis and Cheese. But,
it's funny how Na'Vi probably do it faster with like half the gold,
Yeah.
just because of their minus armor, but
Yeah, and they have
down she goes.
better hero more equipped for that. But now Agent Cheese up. Hani is going to run out of Dragon Form in about 20 seconds or so, but I'm not really sure whether that matters.
I think you do want to wait for that. Well, I mean, or you just go right now.
There's a refresher.
On the Magnus?
Yeah. I mean, does that turn the tide of the battle, perhaps?
They need more damage on Havost. I don't know what else to say. He's still only got a Helm of the Dominator and a Butterfly. It's really not going to be enough against Era. Era's got like 3k HP when he's got his armlet on. The Dragon Knight and 18 armor. Hani's got 22 armor and 3100 HP, and soon an Assault Cuirass if he wants it.
This is not counting in the
They have
force
to
staffs.
stall.
This is not counting in the mech activation from Fly, or from No Tail.
Oh, Trixi. A rare miss. I mean, he's entitled to miss that one, but would have been a nice kill on Funnick for sure.
Well, I mean...
Actually, Funnick didn't have buyback. If he died there, that probably could have been game.
Well...
Because Fnatic can just go straight down mid.
To be honest, I thought it was game like 4 times already against Na'Vi, but what I've learned so far and what I have reminded so far every time I see Na'Vi being down is that you never count out Na'Vi.
They're certainly not counting out themselves. They continue to fight on. If you're just joining us, it's still game 1. It's a best of 2 format. You get points for every single game that you win in the group stage, so every game matters, no matter what, until the bitter end. Nobody is eliminated from the stage, but right now, the International 3 well underway.
Okay, all right.
There's no Hex on Na'Vi.
Yeah, there's no MKB.
This is really smart. I mean, attack speed's quite good on Lifestealer anyway because of his steroid.
Attack
which
relevant.
Is Feast. Yeah.
Evasion relevant. Armor relevant. The only thing you're not getting is the
agility doesn't give you damage, but so what? He's got damage.
Yeah,
he doesn't need more.
Right, so it's like, I mean, this is why we say Fnatic sometimes has quote-unquote awkward item pickups, but it makes perfect sense. It's really smart here, in fact.
It's not. And Butterfly is one of those weird items that if you have 3 or 4 items on a non-agility carry, sometimes it's the best item you can get. Because if the evasion is there, it's almost unbeatable. And frankly, Era could maybe just go and right-click Havost to death right now, but he doesn't want to get caught by an RP. They'll siege this one out a bit slower. Hani wrapping around from the backside. Now Funnick, Sprout available. I don't know if they want to force this. Hani did not BKB. He gets skewered in. Will they RP? Now they catch out Havost. What a hook from Trixi, isolating the carry. A 2-hero RP, but there's just no follow-up. The Fiend's Grip canceled. Still Havos locked in the cogs, duking out with the gyro. There's your refresh. RP number 2. There you go. Catches out 1, but the gyro has not found a way to do any damage to the lifestealer. Another hook from Trixi. They've caught Havost again. Havost in trouble. Infest pop back out. They get the kill. Navi seems like they're out of gas now. No RPs online. A buyback from the gyro, but Hani just the gift that keeps on getting. Still alive. Still at half HP. Era as well.
Oh my god,
Hook
Trixi
again. What a player.
just finding everybody now, and of course Visage is isolated. Era's gonna find Havos, and Havos, he's trying to run, but the meshes are coming in. The butterfly doing some work, and Havos being forced back to the fountain. The GG gets called out, and the opening game of PI3, I just call it the defense for whatever reason. And Fnatic 1-0 Navi.
Them hooks. Trixi out of his mind. And remember, he had a slow start. He got a lot of hate. Puppy smoke ganking him early. Or actually didn't smoke gank, just walked in and backstabbed him. But it was a tough matchup for him. And I mean, we saw how Clockwork still can be relevant. Sure, your cogs don't affect heroes that are magic mutant, but you just catch split pushers.
When you land